The most powerful step you can take is the one that begins from knowing why you're walking. And that is the thought for today. Welcome to 7 Good Minutes. I'm Clyde Lee Dennis. Thanks for joining me for what I believe will be 7 of the most enriching minutes of your day. In today's episode of 7 Good Minutes, we talk about finding your purpose before you take action. Enjoy. There's something powerful that happens when you pause before you begin. In a world that celebrates constant motion, we often forget that the most meaningful journeys start not with our first step, but with our first moment of clarity about where we're actually going. By the end of this episode, you'll understand why aligning with your deeper purpose before taking action isn't just helpful. It's transformative, and you'll have practical ways to discover that alignment in your own life. Think about the last time you rushed into something important without really knowing why you were doing it. Maybe it was a career move, a relationship decision, or even something as simple as how you spent your weekend. How did that feel? There's often this underlying sense of emptiness when our actions aren't connected to something meaningful within us. Purpose isn't some grand mystical concept that only philosophers and spiritual teachers can access. It's actually quite practical. Your purpose is the deeper reason behind what you do, the why that gives weight and meaning to your actions. When you align with this before you begin anything significant, everything changes. Consider 2 people starting the same job. One took it because it was available and paid well. The other took it because they saw how their skills could genuinely help others and contribute to something they believe in. Both might perform the same tasks, but their experience will be completely different. The second person brings intention to their work. They're not just going through motions. They're expressing something authentic about who they are. This alignment doesn't require you to have your entire life figured out. It simply asks you to pause and connect with what matters to you right now, in this moment, for this decision. Sometimes your purpose is as simple as wanting to show up fully for the people you love. Sometimes it's about learning something new about yourself. Sometimes it's about contributing to something larger than your immediate concerns. The beautiful thing about purpose is that it acts like an internal compass. When you're aligned with it, decisions become clearer. You waste less energy on things that don't truly matter to you. You find more satisfaction in your efforts because they're connected to something meaningful. But here's what's interesting. Purpose isn't always comfortable. Sometimes aligning with your deeper why means choosing the harder path, the one that requires more of you. It might mean saying no to opportunities that look good on paper, but don't feel right in your heart. It might mean admitting that what you thought you wanted isn't actually what serves your growth. This is why the pause before beginning is so crucial. In that quiet moment, you can ask yourself, what am I really trying to accomplish here? What would make this meaningful to me? How does this connect to who I'm becoming? These aren't questions that require perfect answers. They're invitations to bring consciousness to your choices. When you align with purpose before you begin, you're not just doing something, you're becoming someone. You're allowing your actions to be expressions of your values, your growth, your authentic self. Sometimes people worry that focusing on purpose will slow them down, that they'll miss opportunities while they're busy reflecting. But the opposite is usually true. When you're aligned with your deeper why, you move with more focus, more energy, more clarity. You don't waste time on detours that don't serve you. Your purpose doesn't have to be the same as anyone else's. It doesn't have to sound impressive or look a certain way. It just has to be true for you, right now, in this season of your life. Maybe your purpose today is simply to be more present with your family. Maybe it's to approach your work with more creativity. Maybe it's to take better care of your health so you can show up more fully for everything else. The key is to honor whatever emerges when you honestly ask yourself what matters. Trust that inner knowing, even if it doesn't make complete sense to your logical mind. Your purpose often speaks in whispers, not shouts. It shows up as a quiet sense of rightness, a feeling of alignment, a recognition that yes, this is why I'm here. When you align with purpose before you begin, you're not just starting something new. You're starting it as the person you're meant to be, and that makes all the difference. That does it for today's episode of 7 Good Minutes. please take a moment to rate and review the show on the platform you're listening on. Until next time, let's be civil to one another out there. Thanks for listening.